Hey, Team Electronics and Coding. Okay, so I'm going to give you just a quick overview of TinkerCAD and how to get there. We did this in class, but you have your nickname. You're going to go to Schoology and then use the TinkerCAD login link. That will bring you to your TinkerCAD. It should look something like this. You got a couple different tabs off to the side here. You have your classes, so you should have our electronics and coding class here, and you can see the activities that we're working on in this space right here. You can also go to your designs, and you can play around. You can build 3D designs, and you can look at all of the circuits that you've made. If you want to build a new circuit, you just go like this and build a little circuit. So quickly, I'm going to throw out here an Arduino and a breadboard and an LED. How about a button? I'll connect my button to power and my power bus to power here. And then connect my ground bus to the ground on the Arduino. I guess I should put in a resistor. Let's make it 220 ohms and connect it to the ground. So this should look pretty similar to what you have on your screen. But notice that you should no longer, when you are taking notes, you don't have the components up anymore. Instead, you have the code. Oh, but it's not blocks. It should be text. And this, I'm going to get rid of this stuff. Okay, so we're going to be writing code in C++ language. And whenever we write code, we are going to have a void setup function and a void loop function. If we want to leave a comment in our code, we can do // and then it changes the color of the text so you know that you're writing a comment, and this is a part of the code that's not going to be read by the computer. So you can write yourself little notes in here. So write that on your own sheet // and then the setup is going to be a part of the program that runs only once at the start of the program. And the loop is going to run over and over after the setup. So the setup is part of the program that runs only once, and the loop runs again and again and again and again in all these little loops after the setup has run. Something to know about the components that we're going to be working with is that there are two basic types of components. We have sensors and we have actuators. Sensors take a physical input and have, or I should say, yeah, they take a physical input and give an electrical output. Whereas actuators do the opposite. They take an electrical input and give a physical output. Okay, so in our super simple design right here, we have an LED and a button, as well as a resistor. Now, our LED is an example of an actuator. It takes an electrical input, which is the current that runs through it, and it gives us a physical output, which is the light that it emits. The button is an example of a sensor. It takes a physical input, which is the push of the button, and it outputs an electrical signal. So we are going to read sensors, and we are going to write to actuators when we start programming our components. Okay, so when we start the simulation here, you'll notice that initially the LED is off, and when I press the button, the LED turns on, and you're going to play around with buttons tomorrow in class, so that should be pretty exciting. Okay, some other things to notice about the Arduino TinkerCad interface. Up in the upper right-hand corner, we've got a couple different options. Right now, we are on the circuit view, so we see all of the different components, how they physically look in real life. But if we switch to the schematic view, we see an electrical circuit diagram, much like the ones that we've drawn in class, but this one looks a little bit more complicated. Don't worry, it's really not. You can see on one end, we are connected to 5 volts, so this is the Arduino over here, 5 volts. We have a push button right here, which looks complicated because there are 2 lines going to it, and we'll be talking about why that's the case, but don't worry about that for now. Imagine it's just 1 line. And you can see that it looks kind of like a little cantilever bridge that's open right now. This is showing us that it's a type of switch. So when the switch is pressed down, it completes the circuit, and then we travel on over here to our red LED, and then over here to our resistor, and then back to the ground. So here's our circuit diagram schematic. The last little toggle over here is a list of our components. So we can see in our design, we have an Arduino Uno, a red LED, a push button, and a 220 ohm resistor. So this is kind of useful to know whenever you're doing Arduino projects. You're probably going to be using this view, but it's nice to know that these 2 other views are an option. Okay, we are going to start programming different components probably next class. So get excited.